Well, we've come to it at last. The first widespread accumulating snow event for the Great Lakes region is on tap to begin on Sunday and may last through Tuesday. In this video, I'm going to talk about how much snow we're expecting, the time span, and the intensity of that snow, as well as the upcoming weather pattern that we're going to see later on. Hello everybody, the time is 8:05 p.m. and it is November 24th. Hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving and great Black Friday. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hopefully everybody's doing well, and you might have seen this scene on my recent snow chase that I had at the end of, well, actually at the end of October, so it's actually been a little while. But I think something like this will likely appear in the forecast once again. I'm not expecting a lot of snow. Again, this is going to be a snow event that's going to be over the span of a few days, and it's going to be rather light. So the question is how much snow we're going to see. Well, there's still some things to be predetermined about that, but we're going to take a look at a few of the model outputs. And again, keep in mind those model outputs are not certainties for sure. I mean, nothing's really truly certain in terms of weather forecasting. But again, just take them for what they're worth and then make some judgments based on it. So this video is again a sunset at Warren Dunes State Park during a lake effect snow event that actually caused some travel impact close to the lakeshore. We had some nice sleet falling, a lot of snow also, maybe an inch or two. For very early in the season, it was rather impressive. But again, we're going to talk about a little bit more than an inch of snow at this point. We are getting into, well, what are we expecting for this upcoming event that we're going to have on Sunday. Now, I think the main hazard setup for snow is going to be from Sunday through Tuesday. Now, again, I think the brunt of the snowfall is probably going to fall near Sunday afternoon and also on Monday. Tuesday, I think it's going to be rather much lighter. And again, I don't think there's going to be too much snow from this event. But I'm going to give you the setup and kind of break that down for you at this current moment. So here you have the 500 millibar height anomaly. Again, as I explained before, the 500 millibar height anomaly kind of shows the pressure differences in the different levels of the atmosphere and kind of gives us an idea of the temperature trends and the changes in the upper levels that will influence things going on at the surface. Again, keep in mind, ridges in the atmosphere usually are indicative of a atmosphere that is exhibiting rising air, or also warmer air because you have high pressure in the upper levels. And that's kind of where we are at right now. We've had temperatures that have been in the upper 30s, low 40s across the Great Lakes region because we have a little bit of a ridge that's built into our portion of the country at this current moment. I think that's going to change though. I think we're going to see temperatures starting to nosedive. We just had a cold front that went through the region, and that cold front is going to bring in much cooler temperatures over the next couple of days. Today we had a temperature of 34 degrees. In the past couple of days we had temperatures in the 40s. That's because that cold front is allowing for cooler air to start to filter into the area. Okay, so as we go through the 500 millibar height anomaly, you notice this trough that's kind of sitting out here. Pay attention to this because that's actually going to be part of the influential portion of our weather over the next couple of days. So you can kind of see that trough kind of gets a push of cooler air from the north once again, with another trough kind of digging in on the backside. What I'm expecting is that there's going to be a filtering of a little bit of warmer, moist air coming into this portion of the area. Now, I don't think that air is going to be very warm. Again, I'm saying warm, moist air for the season, which means dew points are probably going to rise up into maybe the lower 30s to mid 40s if you're farther south. So you're going to see kind of a push of warmer or more moist air from the south associated with this movement of air. You have a trough that's digging into the area, cooler air on the backside of it coming in from the north, much cooler air as a matter of fact. Temperatures are going to not get above freezing for maybe a day or two. But you can see that this trough dips into Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. And this dip in the trough is also going to bring along with it a push of winds out of the north, northerly and northwesterly winds traveling to the southeast, which again, if coupled with cooler air aloft as well as warm lake temperatures, likely is going to bring some lake effect snow. So again, that lake effect snow is going to be influential into the snow totals for particular regions. So that trough's going to be kind of digging into the area on Sunday, on Monday, and settles in through about Tuesday before we start to see that pattern really start to move out of the area. So again, I think it's going to be a snow event of, I guess, long duration but low impact. Long duration, low impact is really kind of the thing that is with this setup that we have going on here. So again, that trough's going to filter in, and I think going into the longer range we'll start to see more of a warm-up behind these troughs, you're going to kind of see a ridge start to build in. Again, got some warmer air coming in from the south at that point. So temperatures will rise back up. Snow will begin to melt off, and we'll start to see a little bit better. Now, again, I'm talking about snow, and you're probably like, oh, great. The winter season beginning. Well, how much snow are we expecting? Well, let's get right to it. And, well, I got to back out of this real quick. Let's get right to it with the Euro model. I'm going to be using the Euro model mostly for much of this. Again, I think the Euro model does a really good job forecasting most snow events, and it usually doesn't take it to the extreme many times. So Euro model, again, take a look at this. On Sunday, you have surface temperatures or surface winds coming out of the south, moving up to the north. Again, that's going to allow for a push of warmer, moist air, especially also since the jet stream is going to be kind of coupled with this as the movement of that ridge and trough pushes farther to the east. So we're going to have that push of moist air. I wouldn't say it's warm air, but it's moist air. And then you see that cold front begin to kind of filter, and you can kind of see where that cold front's at this point, kind of right in this area right here, and kind of pushing in with a little bit of wind on the back side of it. Notice how that air mass moves through, and we start to see winds on the lakeshore. Again, that wind on the lakeshore is going to really kind of help to fire up some of that lake effect snow, especially since the air aloft is going to be cooler than the air at the surface. So, and I'll show you specifically what that looks like in just a minute. But you can kind of see that wind continues on the shoreline for at least over 24 hours before things start to really tamper down a little bit. So at the end of this model run, right at Tuesday 7 a.m., you still got some wind coming off the lakeshore. You notice that the winds in the state itself, in Michigan State itself, do not really seem that impressive. It's really going to be over that flat area of the lake where we see those influential winds that will drive some of that lake effect snow into parts of Michigan. I think Michigan's really the main player here. Ohio, you're going to miss out on a lot of the snow unless you're in extreme northwestern Ohio, I'd say, is the place where you'd want to watch. Maybe some places along Lake Erie could also potentially see some snow. I wouldn't be surprised if areas around Ontario, the Ontario province in Canada, saw a bit of lake effect snow as well. But I do think the primary batch of snow is going to be focused right over western Michigan, maybe also into parts of the Upper Peninsula, northwestern Indiana, northern Indiana, and then northwest Ohio seems to be kind of those influential spots for snow. Now, again, I really don't think, though, for most places, there won't be many travel impacts. I do think closer to the lakeshore, there could be a little bit of slick road travel. Again, the typical Michigan travel hazards, I guess you could say, with lake effect snow. Nothing really too out of the ordinary, but just something to keep in mind there. And again, this illustrates to you that surge of moist air that's going to be coming in associated with that jet. You've got an agreeable jet in the mid layer, upper levels, and then you got your surface winds out of the south. You're going to get that push of more moist air associated with the passing of this front that's going to be going through. So that's just going to allow for that setup for snowfall to really take shape over the next couple of days. Now, let's get to what it actually looks like. So I'm going to zoom in more, particularly in our area. It's going to start out initially as system snow, which is why I'm saying it's a widespread snow event. I am saying those lake areas are going to get more snow, but I do think there will be at least snow widespread across a good chunk of Michigan with this. Now, the snow totals are going to be low, and I'll get to more specifics in just a minute, but let's look at this a little more in detail. Let's zoom in. So if I bring this up, you can see that system snow begins to move through. Again, this is associated with that trough that's moving through, that front that's coming in. You do notice that it starts out initially as rain across much of Ohio, Indiana, northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, and then much of Michigan. It looks like there could be a bit of a wintry mix out closer to the lakeshore where the lake temperatures are a little bit warmer. Maybe places along the lakeshore could have a wintry mix as well. You could see that system snow begins to move through. And as it moves through, you notice it passes over as that front begins to move out of the area. And then you start to see as that cooler air begins to come in from the northwest, you start to see that lake effect snow begin to form along the lake shore. Now you also have it in the Upper Peninsula as well. Places such Copper Harbor are also getting that as well. Places such as Grand Marais might see a little bit of snow, but I think also quite a bit of it's going to be along these western counties in Michigan, and then also tapping into parts of northern Indiana as well. Getting it forward, you see that lake effect snow does continue. It doesn't really show up too well Monday afternoon. It looks like the focus of the lake effect snow is going to be pushed farther up to the north at that time. And then could be a possible resurgence of some lake effect snow as we get into Tuesday along the southern portion of Michigan. So really, Sunday through Tuesday, going to be kind of variable with regards to the snow pattern. Again, the setup is there. It's just determining where those snow bands will line up, and that's who's going to see the most snow. Now, again, places such as Lake Erie might start seeing that later on Tuesday, so would not be surprised to just see scattered snow showers Sunday through Tuesday, and the more heavier brunt of the snow coming Sunday into Monday, shortly after Monday as well. So that lake effect snow is going to have some impacts there. How much snow are we expecting? Again, this is kind of this total snowfall through about Tuesday at 7 a.m. So this doesn't account for everything, but this is what the Euro is pointing out. So again, western Michigan is going to be kind of the spot for that bigger brunt of snow, particularly northwestern portions of Michigan. Could see up towards 6 inches in some spots. Places that are shaded in pink really have that focus point of better snow. I really think down here you're not going to see as much. I wouldn't say you get any higher than if you're east of US 131, you probably won't get higher than 4 inches in any place, and likely not even more than 3 inches down in that region. Places close to the lakeshore west of US 131 would not be surprised to see maybe totals of 3 to 5 inches, maybe some isolated places that get 6 inches. I don't really think it's going to get much higher than that. It doesn't really look like it's going to be that much in terms of snow. But in northern Indiana, maybe some places get lucky and get 2 inches of snow, but not going to be too much to cause travel impacts, especially since it's long duration snow event. And again, keep in mind, we haven't really had much snow accumulating yet across much of the Great Lakes region, unless you were in the Upper Peninsula. But the Great Lakes region hasn't really seen that much in terms of snowfall. So again, it may take a while for it to stick in some places also as well. In terms of slick travel, there could be some slick spots maybe on Monday morning. It doesn't really look too impactful though. Probably won't really cause too much in terms of delays or closings for school, unless you are closer to the lake shore or northern Michigan. I really don't think that's going to be a big issue though. Places on the eastern side of Michigan won't see that much. There's not going to be too much snow over there. Again, this model puts out 1 to 2 inches. Again, that's probably associated with that system snow that's going to be moving through according to what the models are depicting. So that system snow, and then you're really going to see more accumulations where those bands set up. So that's just something to keep in mind with this setup. Again, with lake effect snow, it's relatively hard to predict who exactly is going to get the most, but it's wherever those bands line up that really are going to cause impact. But again, keep in mind, lake effect snow can have brief shots where it's really heavy, where it's really light. So you got to keep an eye out on the roads across I-94, particularly I-94, US 131 in places around there, because again, whiteout conditions are a very big problem when it comes to road accidents on highways. I've been doing research on it for a possible video later on, but just be aware there will be changes in visibility over the next couple of days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, in some spots where those snow bands really set up, but it doesn't look to be nearly as impactful as some of the lake effect snow events we had last year. So that's a positive thing to consider, and I think there's really not going to be as many events in terms of heavy snow across the Great Lakes region this year, mainly because we're in an El Nino season, and El Nino seasons really don't favor that particular setup. But I could talk about that for a little bit longer, maybe do another video about that, but again, you're here for the snow potential. So here's the ARRR model. Again, the ARRR model is just being updated at this current time. I don't think we have enough data to go into when this storm actually hits, but again, if we go back to a past run, you can see at this far out, by about Sunday at 1 p.m., you have lake effect snow occurring past that system snow. Places that could see snow include northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio, southern Michigan. So things to just keep in mind if you're living in the area. So make sure to subscribe and stay updated. If anything changes with the forecast, I'll probably put it out as a post or something on Facebook, maybe even Twitter, or now it's X, I guess, and then also on YouTube as well. So hopefully this information was helpful. Make sure to be ready for changes in visibility. And maybe some slick roads also as well, but just things to be aware of as you are out on the roadways Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.